because we have webinar on Mackinder's theory. It's very important right now, especially
that this is an important area. Now, start looking with the historical power dynamics, because this was the age when there were, there were empires, they were fighting with each other. In 1904 particularly, this was the time when czars, because the northern part of heartland, here you can see that it was Russia, and as far as the other power which was making its influence in the near the fringes of this heartland, that was British Empire. So it means that since he was a Britisher, so his emphasis was to explore those areas which can bring a change in these power competition, and that can benefit more to the United Kingdom. So the story at that time, I mean, I'm calling it a story because now it would be more easy for us to understand while looking with this lens, because at that time Russian empires and British, this is well-known factor that they were striving hard to capture the area which is nowadays called Afghanistan. So it was British Empire which was trying to extend its influence northward, whereas British Empire was trying, the czars, they were trying to move southward. So keeping in view this struggle of power, we can say that perhaps with the end of these empires, it is no more relevant. This is no more, needed. I mean, this theory is now irrelevant for the students of international relations. But I believe that this a renewed examination of its relevance would help us to understand that this power dynamics are though changed, but somehow it is still relevant with international politics. So just to begin with the next point, that what Halford Mackinder actually said. So it was not merely one work or one lecture through which he highlighted, but there is a series of his ideas which we can see there in form of book and then in article, and then there was a lecture as well. So in 1904 started with a lecture that was actually the heartland theory, and at that time the idea was to highlight the importance of Eurasia, so that the power, the growing power like the British, they can attain the global dominance. So it started with this, and then his famous book that was published in Democratic Ideals and Reality, that got published in 1919. So here I would also like to talk about that this was the time when first time you can see that the Democratic Ideals and Realities, when the First World War ended, and in the background of that, it would be easy for us to understand that the Democratic Ideals and Reality, this was written with that context. And in this writing, or in this book, he was emphasizing on the pivot area of world, and that was definitely Eastern Europe, that is part of this heartland. So it was very important for the global stability. Please remember that here we are referring the Germans, Russians, and their, definitely the conflict at that time. So it was largely, controlling the mind of writer, and therefore in that context he produced this book. And in this manuscript, he basically highlighted that he further expanded basically the heartland concept, and it was written in more detail. And he even asserted at that time that geographical realities can undermine democracies as well, and can make countries more authoritative. So the next work was the Round Bird and the Winning of Peace, which got published in 1943. So here are the references of the World War II. And here he was fully aware with the air power as a critical factor in geopolitics. And at that time, the other factor that got involved was the technological advancement. So he was also accepting this, that the technological advancement can transform the heartland concept, but it would remain intact. Means while admitting it that um, the new technological advancements are taking place, but still the relevance of this geography is intact. And as far as the heartland theory, if we try to relate it with the today's world, so we should not forget this thing that it is one of the seminal concepts that of geopolitics. And heartland as a geopolitical pivot of the world. So it means that while looking at the primacy of this Eurasian landmass, we can say that he was fully aware with this idea that even new technological advancements are taking place, but yet this area is very important. And why so? Why this is important? So one concept, as I already said, that the population factor was there. I mentioned that in the beginning of my lecture, and then I am now taking another point, that is the strategic importance of this geographic region. It is very important and it impacts on the global power dynamics even today. So the strategic importance, so these are some of the attributes I want to highlight. That the geographical centrality, that is definitely the Eurasian part, because this connects with Europe, Asia, and Africa. So this is the basic point of this heartland. And as far as the second important point, what is the secret in this heartland? It is the abundance of natural resources. That since there are natural resources in this area, and this is one of the factors, though it was not explored at that time, because we can see that the exploration of oil and other minerals, the precious minerals, they started after particularly the disintegration of Soviet Union in Central Asia. But as far as the natural resources, because it is thought that there are some biblical references available saying that the Central Asia is one of the area which is full of wealth, and this was largely because of the natural resources. So it is also considered that this area is the one difficult area in the context that it is not easy to invade it, and because it is not having a direct access by the sea. So therefore, this is very difficult to access it. And this was one of the reason of the British Empire, perhaps, that they could not conquer this area, because largely the conquests were made by the sea area. So this is also one point which we can say that the point of debate between the spokesman and the heartland, who was on this belief that basically the fringes. And then there was another point, that was Mahan, Alfred Mahan, was emphasizing on the sea power. But all these theories are basically highlighting the primacy of some geographical factors. So keeping in view again this heartland, I would say that this area is again one important point, that is it's limited access. So we can take it as a curse, and we can also take it as a blessing for this areas, because somehow they remained protected, and only a power, that was Russia, that could conquer this part. And later, even with the disintegration all this part again, they got independent. So it means that these are some of the attributes of this heartland theory. And as far as some of the realities, strategic realities of geography, particularly this heartland, is concerned, that is its physical landscape. Because the political powers are largely dependent on geography. And again, the group of scholars who believe on this thing that it is a redundant idea or no more relevant. So I think there is a need to revisit it, because a plethora of books have already been produced. Even currently, I can easily recall the Graham Allison's Thucydides trap. So all of these are those nascent work which we believe that is having a relevance with geography, and particularly with this Eurasian landmass. And if we focus on it, so we can find that this is heartland. So the control of Eurasia as a source of global influence, that was even at that time very important, and even in today's world, I believe that the control of Eurasia is still, it can be considered as one component of global dominance or global influence. So I'll be explaining it one by one by taking the examples of the great powers. Here I would like to name China, and then Russia and America. So the basic thing which we can extract out of this whole theory, that is not merely the strategies of the continental powers, I mean Russia and China. So this is not basically their influence I'm talking about. I'm talking about even the interplay of maritime powers and the continental powers. And when I talk about maritime powers, so it means I'm referring USA and United Kingdom. And when I say the continental powers, so it means that I am talking about China and Russia. And China, indeed, nobody can deny it that China's is amassing its power largely due to its regional connectivity and due to its, BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, and then SREB, which is one of the most important component of BRI, that is Silk Road Economic Belt. And when the Mackinder, he included this air power in his later work, as I mentioned in the beginning, in 1943. So it means that even at that time, because some scholars, they believe that with the advent of this new technology, now the idea to conquer some areas without conquering this particular part, heartland, now it is easy because now you have air power. Even then, I believe you can see United States of America that holding holding a power and air power, so air show. But we can see that even to attack on Afghanistan, it was direly needed by America to stay there in some of the neighboring states of Afghanistan, particularly in this heartland that was Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan. So nobody can deny the importance that even with the evolution of technology, yet this geographical part is very important, because history says that it could not be conquered. So history, we can say that now it mirrors, and we can see the same strategies of global powers that they are now trying to connect with this particular region for the sake of their global influence. So the contemporary politics, we can say, that is also having this competition, and the resource control competition is still going on, and countries are trying to exert their regional influence. So the strategic centrality of heartland in today's world, what it could be, the increasing interconnectedness by air power and global communication through WhatsApp, through social media. I mean, now is it still necessary to control this area, or to conquer a nation? Is this necessary to control a geography first, or this is over? So the recent show that ended, I mean, in 2021, that is the best example to highlight the significance of heartland, because to my mind, this global communication and this interconnectedness of world, whether through air power or through this social media, this is increasing, and the geopolitical significance of heartland is also growing, because heartland is still relevant, and even if you want to exert influence, then you need this area. The technological advancement even could not change the importance of this central landmass. As I said, that most of the consumers, these are residing there in this part. If we look at the word island, as I said, that the two grouping, which he believes that if you control this word island, you will be able to control the whole world. So word island, and definitely this Eastern Europe, the primacy of Eastern Europe, the primacy of Central Asia. This is there in this dictum, and the interplay between the geography and power. This has become more evident. And a wartime geopolitical landscape that is definitely highlighted over here. But with this, there is also another other point, that is the guide to shape the international order, and it is this guide is also available in this dictum, in this theory, so it can be taken in both ways. So as far as the why Central Asia even today is very important. So though there is no share of this particular part or the Mackinder's heartland there with the word, then what sort of relevance it has now with the word power, with the word politics. So there are different factors, and we can see that the untapped reserves of oil and gas, and still, the exploration is going on, and the rare earth minerals which are available over here. And these are some of the interests of China and United States of America, and definitely European powers, including Russia. So the influence of nowadays India, Turkey, and Iran in this particular region is also growing, and this is illustrating that the heartland once, which was envisioned by Halford Mackinder, it shows that India, Turkey, and Iran's fast-growing, moves and their actions, foreign policies, and their preferences are showing this that this area is still relevant. As far as the big powers are concerned, I mean Russia and China, which are not only the neighboring states of Central Asia, but they are also great powers. So we can say that their competition, apparently, yes, we'd say that Russia and China, they are somehow together and they are on one page, Russia and China, and apparently they are the common enemy for the Western powers. But one can find that there are even skirmishes or some kind of frictions, I must say, frictions that lies between these two nations over certain issues. But as far as the emerging importance of the re-emergence of the heartland, is explicit there in their foreign policies, Russia and China. And as far as the Central Asia's oil and gas and other reserves are concerned, these are some of the some of the factors which are reinforcing Mackinder's emphasis on this heartland. So there one can see that nowadays a global power shift is also occurring between the continental powers, that is Russia and China, and as far as the maritime powers, like as I already mentioned, so the thesis like Graham Allison, when it highlights the China's emergence as a great power and as a threat to United States of America. So one should look at the China's foreign policy and its primacy, because three Central Asian countries or the Mackinder's heartland are the neighbors of China. So this is one factor, important factor. That is, I think, the linchpin of this idea that how China is rising. As far as the other military strategies are concerned, and some of the trade routes, emerging trade routes, new emerging trade routes, this reflects the Mackinder's insights that is nowadays in the interplay between land and sea power. And here I would also like to point out few other writers who are, though they are writing on other areas of geography, but they are still stick with this idea. And here I would like to mention the recent work of Tim Marshall, I would like to refer his book, The Power of Geography, which was written in 2021. So he is also, highlighting the power of geography, and it means that it would not be sane to consider that geography is no more relevant. So the disintegration of the Soviet Union, this has revived the interests of China and definitely United States of America. So though America is not a neighboring power of Central Asia, yet it is considered one of the important the stakeholder of this region. How it is relevant with this? So let me begin with first China's interest, and then I would be talking about other states, because how Central Asia and this heartland is still relevant in this theory that is the China's interest, or this theory in the China's foreign policy. So here I would say that the China's Belt and Road Initiative, this exemplifies that the modern heartland politics is still going on, because now we can see that China is. Can you see me, Faisal? Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you audible, visible, everything is okay.
My screen is there?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. And how much time I have?
I think you can sum up with 5 minutes, I think.
5 minutes?
You can sum up. I think 5 minutes you can sum up. After 15 से 20 मिनट हम जो क्वेश्चन आंसर कर लेंगे, then 1 hour में हमारा मेकअप हो जाएगा.
जी ठीक है. तो China's interest, as I said, that let me quickly cover it, and so that we can later talk about this heartland and its relevance there in our question answer sessions. So China's Belt and Road and its SREB, as I already mentioned, and this is one important map which I believe that students of international relations, they are quite familiar with it, because here one can see belt and road. So quite interestingly, this blue is actually the road, and as far as the black lines are the belt of China's Belt and Road Initiative. So Silk Road Economic Belt, here you can see that most important belt, that is the northern belt, and it passes through Central Asia and Russia, and then it goes to Eastern Europe, and then definitely it's connecting to Northern Europe. And then the central belt, which is also visible, and this one is the second one, and this central belt through Central Asia going into the West Asia, and then definitely here you can see Persian Gulf. So it means that, and third one, definitely this is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, but since my focus is this heartland, and so it is still quite a significant factor showing us that how China is relying mostly on this heartland even in today's world, and China's rise is largely dependent on the betterment of this area, on the infrastructure building. So this old dictum is not dead so far, and it is having a great relevance. And as far as United States of America, since there is a direction that I have only 5 minutes, but I would definitely be speaking it in detail, and I would be talking about United States of America, China, and Russia in detail. Well, very quickly, when we say that the United States of America, the strategy of containment, so at the first sight, the idea comes in our mind that perhaps I'm talking about Cold War dynamics. And yes, this had happened there during the time of Cold War, when America was trying to contain the Soviet influence. And at that time, this heartland, definitely the Soviet Union was the dominant power controlling this heartland. And United States of America was trying to form different alliances and establishing different relations with military bases. It was establishing military bases on the periphery of it. So it was quite visible throughout the Cold War. Even after the death of Mackinder, the dictum continued, and the revival was, the strategy then went with the disintegration of Soviet Union, and in the post-Cold War era, when NATO started to expand eastward, and nowadays it's exposed to Ukraine. This all highlights that even a distant neighbor, I mean United States of America, which is far away from this heartland, is still having its interest in this particular region, and the US is continuously trying to counter those powers which can which are even heartland-centric states like China and Russia, and these are basically two heartland-centric states. Now coming towards the third state, as I said, that three powers and controlling this heartland even today, because that game is over. That was between Russia, that was between Tsars and the British Empire. So the current players are these three players, though America is, it seems like it is no more relevant perhaps with the withdrawal of forces from Afghanistan. Yet it is important to highlight, and I would definitely be answering different questions so things would be more clear. So Russia, which is a third player, and it is a leading exporter of oil and natural gas in this area, and also influencing Europe and other regions. And the one particular aspect of Russian foreign policy towards this heartland of Central Asian countries, it is largely dependent on this thing, that its resources, or the cheap resources, are available to Russia. So Russia uses its influence over the former Soviet republics to maintain its strategic depth and to attain the resource or for the sake of resource access. Russia is trying to influence this form of Soviet republics. Russia's action in Ukraine nowadays, this is also reinvigorating the thesis of Mackinder. Russia's geopolitical doctrine, that is basically the strong foothold of Russia there in Central Asia, because the Russia's real power lies in its fringes or in its peripheral area. So Russia uses Central Asia and Eastern Russia used that in history as buffer, but now whether it is still using it as a buffer or not, so there is a question mark. And somehow China is a threat for Russia as well. Now, the invasion of Ukraine, it also reflects that it is trying to reassert its dominance over this key region, and Russia is trying to do it while introducing a few organizations like Eurasian Economic Union, whereas China is exerting influence through Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and Russia is joining in Russia's partnership with China in Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This also demonstrates that Russia's efforts are to consolidate its heartland control. So this is so far, I think, those examples, or in this short time period, I can just explain all these factors and can try to relate with the Mackinder's idea. So this was all about from my side, and if now house is open for question answer, and if there is any question, so Dr. Faisal is here, so he can. Dr. Faisal is moderating this session, so he can take questions. Over to you.
First of all, thank you so much. Your lecture was very awesome. And first of all, I want to ask a question. Then I will open the floor for students. They can ask. It's a very simple question. Just something keep in my mind, Spikeman's rimland theory. I think, what do you think about? I think Spikeman's rimland theory is more relevant comparatively Mackinder theory, because Spikeman discuss about coastal peripheries of Eurasia. And this theory, I think, discuss more accurately framework for nowadays going in, especially Eurasia, where the global power politics is going on. So if we compare the Mackinder's Spikeman theory, what do you think about?
Well, my idea is still I'm not not refuting your idea that this is not having relevance. And while, delivering, while my talk, I said that these are actually the important geographical theories, highlighting that how important geography is even in today's world. So my point was that heartland is important, because if you look at China's foreign policy and China's rise, so it is not merely dependent on heartland. I mean, this area that is of Mackinder's heartland. You can see that Spikeman theory, he is also, pointing out a geographical factor. So here you can see that China's, as I have shown you people a map through which you can see that its road is passing through this region. So that is Spikeman's area. So it means that it is a double edge of China, that it is simultaneously controlling this heartland and rimland. So these are those areas which are of these two geographers, old geographers. So since we are talking about merely the relevance of this, and the idea is not to refute anyone's theory, so I tried to amalgamate all these geographical factors and try to combine it together and giving the importance, because I am just trying to, refute the idea with the group of scholars who believe that the geography is no more relevant with the advent of this AI and with this technology. So this was my point of view.
Thank you. Students, I open all of your mics. So I will allow you, then you can ask a question. First of all, Muhammad Anis, raise your hand, please ask your question. Turn on your mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum, madam.
Welcome, please ask me.
Who is asking?
मैडम, ये है जैसा कि आपने इस नजरिए की अहमियत को बयान करते हुए कहा कि ये एक जियोग्राफिकल सेंट्रिक है, जिसमें लैंड लॉक होने की वजह से इसके कोई इन्वेड नहीं कर सकता, तो इसके बरक्स अल्फ्रेड महान ने कहा था कि जिसने वेरा हिंद में कब्जा किया उसने पूरी दुनिया में कब्जा किया, यानी कि ना सिर्फ उसने कुत्ते की बल्कि समंदर की अहमियत को भी उजागर किया। मैडम, आपको नहीं लगता कि ये थ्योरी या कोई ऐसी मिसाल है जो लैंडलॉक्ड कंट्रीज होने के बावजूद जो है ना वहाँ पर असंगठित हो ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स?
जी, थैंक यू सो मच अनीस, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। अनीस, इसमें ये है कि अनीस ही नाम है ना जिनसे मैं बात कर रही हूँ? जी ठीक। अच्छा, तो अनीस, आपका पॉइंट बड़ा वैलिड है, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट। जिस तरह के मैंने अभी इसको एक्सप्लेन करने की भी कोशिश की कि जो जियोग्राफिकल फैक्टर्स हैं वो एक इसके लिए एक कर्स भी है, बिकॉज दिस वाज द ओनली वन फैक्टर जिसकी वजह से इसको कोई भी पावर जो है वो इसको कॉन्कर नहीं कर सकी। आपको पता होगा कि ब्रिटिश ने पहला अटैक जो है वो अफ़गानिस्तान नॉर्थ जब मार्च कर रहा था इधर से सब कॉन्टिनेंट से, तो पहला मार्च किया 1939 के अंदर, लेकिन फेल रहा। फिर दोबारा 70s में हमने देखा, लेकिन एक फेल्ड अटैम्प्ट रही। तो व्हाट वाज द रीज़न? द रीज़न इज़ कि चूँकि बरतानिया खुद एक समंदरी ताकत था, और महान का आइडिया भी बेसिकली यही है, क्योंकि वो एक समंदर से के साथ कनेक्ट होने पे, एक मैरीटाइम पावर होने की वजह से उनका तरीका ही रूल करने का या कॉलोनीज बनाने का वो समंदरों के रास्ते था। लेकिन इस रास्ते को, इस सरजमीन को अगर किसी ने बचाया है तो वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ ये कि यहाँ पे समंदर लिंक नहीं थे, जिसकी वजह से ये इलाका काफ़ी हद तक बचा रहा। और यही एक फैक्टर है, अगर हम अमेरिका के लॉन्ग स्टे इन अफगानिस्तान की भी बात करें, तो my lens to understand is that this is the only one factor which is still protecting this region. Otherwise, long stay of America, I mean 20 years of America there, this is a long time. Even then we can see that at the end you have to leave. So this is something I believe that a blessing and simultaneously a curse as well. So how these countries are nowadays bringing a change in their foreign policies? My mic has been disabled. Somebody disabled my mic. So who is the one? Is it working?
Yes, yes,
Am I
working,
audible?
working.
I can
Yes,
see
yes.
over. It is written
बीच
that your
में
mic
इन,
is disabled.
बीच में इंटरनेट का कुछ मसला हो गया था आपकी आवाज में, अब ठीक है।
जी ठीक है, तो मैंने बिल्कुल अपना माइक डिसेबल नहीं किया है। और उसमें यह है कि ये जो आप बात कर रहे थे कि ऐसी कौन सी चीज़ें हैं जो इसको, अगर हम इनकी फॉरेन पॉलिसी को देखें तो उज़्बेकिस्तान है, ई वीज़ाज़ के कॉन्सेप्ट हैं, या फिर जिस तरह अभी इसी वजह से मैंने ये कहा कि चाइना बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहा है इस रीजन के ऊपर, क्योंकि जो इसकी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्डिंग है वो डेफिनेटली इसको, इस रीजन को तरक्की की तरफ लेके जा रही है। दो देयर आर सो मैनी प्रॉब्लम्स लिंक्ड विद इट, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग दैट फैक्टर, लेकिन इसके बावजूद अगर आप देखें तो जितना भी सेंट्रल एशिया है और उसकी जो कनेक्शन है, ये एक वीकनेस ही होती है किसी भी रियासत की, जिसकी वजह से बड़ी रियासतें जो है उसको डेफिनेटली कैश भी करती हैं, लेकिन उनको भी अपना बेहतरी के लिए समहाउ रिलाई करना पड़ता है। तो दिस इज सो फार वन प्रोजेक्ट, बेल्ट एंड रोड इनिशिएटिव, SREB, these are those projects which can bring prosperity in Central Asia. तो हमें इनकी फॉरेन पॉलिसीज़ में भी, और वो वाले इलाके जो कि बिल्कुल ऐसे इलाके थे जो जहाँ तक एक्सेस मुमकिन ना थी, लेकिन अभी उज़्बेकिस्तान के अंदर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्डिंग से ऐसे इलाके जो कि जिसको वार टोन एरियाज़ भी कहा जाता है, कि उनको अब इन्होंने ऐसे इलाकों के साथ कनेक्ट कर दिया है जो कि कि ट्रेड में उनको मदद देंगे। तो ट्रेड इज़ दी ओनली वन वे आउट। और प्लीज़ रिमेंबर, दिस इज़ नॉट मेयरली चाइना, इवन अमेरिका ट्राइड अ लॉट to connect this particular region with the outer world, or to cut it from Russia and from China, and to make its connectivity more toward the southward. So China, America का जो पहला MSRI है, that is the New Silk Road Initiative that I'm referring here, Obama's time period. So you can recall all that. These all are those projects which were given by Americans well before China. So I hope that the point is clear now, or you want to ask something else.
I think next question, Shafiq Rasool. Please turn on your mic. You can ask your question.
It's Shafkat, if I'm not wrong.
Shafkat is Shafiqat.
Yeah, shukran. जी
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
जी
जी
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम शुक्रिया।
हाँ, अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
Please ask your question.
मैम, जी मैडम, China is a sea power, and China control over South China Sea. So what do you think China can control over heartland Central Asia through BRI? And secondly, what about the great power competition in Central Asia? Who will win? There's no any zero sum game in international relation, but great power competition में कौन win करेगा या कौन control करेगा heartland को Central Asia? Third, this Central Asia की heartland है, this land belong to China, belong to Russia, but why Russia जो है ना इतना influence economical इतना power नहीं बना, क्या वजह है?
किसके लिए कह रहे
तीन
हैं?
सवाल आते हैं।
रशिया इतनी पावर क्यों नहीं बना, राइट?
रशिया।
तीसरे सवाल से जवाब देना शुरू करो।
जी मैडम, श्योर।
तो थर्ड से जवाब देना शुरू करते हैं। तो आपका पहला सवाल कि रशिया एक इकोनॉमिक पावर क्यों नहीं बना, आई मीन दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। मेरे ख्याल में इसके लिए हम रिसोर्स कर्स थ्योरी एक बड़ी मशहूर थ्योरेटिकल फ्रेमवर्क है, जिसको आप अगर समझें तो उसका मुद्दा ही यही है कि जो रियासतें सिर्फ रिसोर्सेज के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट होती हैं, दे आर इट इज़ वेरी हार्ड फॉर देम कि वो बाकी अपनी इंडस्ट्रीज़ को रन कर सकें या बाकी इंडस्ट्रीज़ के ऊपर तवज्जो दे सकें, और उनकी इकॉनमी जो है वो बहुत तेज़ी से अपवर्ड जाती है, तो देयर आर chances available that it would decline as well. But as far as Russia's problems are concerned, Russia's challenges are different. I mean, that's why Russia controlled this heartland, since Russia is no more the single player over heartland, because I am just referring here heartland, so I would be relating it with heartland, because it was Soviet Union when heartland was part of Soviet Union, right? So it was therefore a bipolar world, and Russia was a big power. I mean, only two superpowers were there. So Russia was a superpower. So since this heartland is no more with Russia, so I believe that this is the one reason to prove this heartland theory's relevance. Otherwise, there are so many other factors, but I'm just referring this point of heartland. As far as your second question was concerned, it was related to China, that who will, and great powers competition, that who will win. I mean, there are a group of scholars speculating that it is definitely a China's rise, and this century is China's century. So China's rise is, so quick, and there are evidences available. So Graham Ellison's Thucydides trap, 2017 is still, having its beat, and one can easily hear that what is going on all over the world. And since Trump is back there in America, and now we can see that this drum would be more loud, so these beats would be more loud. But as far as China's rise is concerned, this is not a hidden factor. Everybody is knowing that, and this is largely because of this. Yes, this component is there, that I do accept it, that China is not merely relying on it, and that's why I included Spikesman as well when I said that China is using maritime and this belt and road. The road is its maritime route, whereas belts are so many belts, 6 belts, and relying on that. So it's Asia Pacific. We cannot deny that factor. But your third point was your third question. इसीलिए कह रही थी जरा ठहर जाए, मुझे भूल गया ना. So what was the third point?
Madam, BRI, can China control heartland through BRI?
China is doing it, and China is somehow, I believe, that successful. Because अगर आप जाकर देखें this Khorgos, I mean the dry port there in Kazakhstan, then the road constructions there in Kyrgyzstan, and there in Uzbekistan. So here we are just talking about state to state connections. So these are very strong so far, and all of these members, the successful show of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, this all shows the China's primacy in their foreign policies. So their foreign policies are, largely linked with it, and they are definitely, relying on China. So this factor is intact and it is there. Anybody else? Dr. Faisal?
Someone wrote a question in chat box. Can you check the chat box?
Oh, somebody wrote, thank you. I can just
Dr.
see.
Noor Said.
Yeah, so Noor Said, what is the question? Can you please read it? Because
yes, critics argued that Mackinder's focus on Eurasia marginalizes the geopolitical importance of regions like the Indo-Pacific and the Americas. Is this a valid critique, or does Mackinder's framework remain adaptable?
This is what I said throughout the lecture. I mean, this is something which I believe that what explicitly, China is doing, and Russia is doing, and America is doing. So why are they rushing toward this? Why is there still C5+1? Why America is still concerned with this C5+1, that is 5 Central Asian countries plus one, that is America. So America, though it is said that America is no more a relevant player there in this region, but nobody can deny it that it is largely concerned. And if America is having an exit policy now, it may use some other factors as an entry factor in this region again. So I believe that this whole lecture was based on this idea to prove that it is still relevant. This is what I said throughout the lecture. Yes. Dr. Faisal.
Anyone have a question? Okay. I think we have very comprehensive question for you. So thank you so much. And I think yes, on time. Yes, someone, Shafkat, I think. Yes, you can, Shafkat. You can ask. Yes, quickly, please, because we don't have time. Please, quickly.
Thank you, madam. What about the Pakistan?
What about Pakistan? In what context? Yes. Can you explain what is question?
To control heartland in Central Asia.
To control heartland, we talked about great powers competition, and definitely we can say countries' foreign policy towards Central Asia and Pakistan, Central Asian countries. Nobody can deny that with the independence of Central Asian countries, Pakistan was the first country recognized Central Asia. So its primacy, the primacy of Central Asian countries is there in Pakistan's foreign policy, and we were the one who were helping Central Asian countries in different time period. So this is quite vivid and explicitly it is a known factor that Pakistan and Central Asian countries are enjoying cordial relations, and we are extending help to these countries whenever they need. So same goes with these states.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarwat. I think और मैंने एक चीज आप तारुफ में नहीं करा सका like you are the specialist, expert of Central Asian region. So thank you so much. हमने timely अपने session में close किया. Student session has recorded. So if you want to see this lecture later, I will upload this lecture on our YouTube channel. Later, I will also share this on the LinkedIn. So you can check it later. Thank you so much for everyone who joined this session with us. So, someone, ma'am, have a question in the chat box. Yes, 2 questions. Quickly, I think you don't have a time. I have a time, but you don't have time. I think Mr. Yusuf wrote a question about Ma'am, you mentioned that China's increasing interest in Central Asia is not caused the rivalries between Russia and China even having cooperation now. And the second question is, according to heartland theory, yes, one, yes.
Yeah, one. First question. मैं भूल जाती हूँ ना, तो हम
Yes,
professor जो हैं वो
yes,
भूल
हम वो सब भूल जाते हैं.
जी, so first question is that he is asking basically, क्या नाम बताया आपने इनका?
मोहम्मद यूसुफ हैं ये.
मोहम्मद यूसुफ का सवाल ये है कि रूस और चीन का जो आपस में कोई आपको फ्रिक्शंस नजर आती हैं, तो apparently there isn't anything. I mean, they are one on many platforms, and definitely states are independent actors. States move in their own directions for their own interests. But when we say that you know, for Russia and China, so there are very visible frictions as well between these two states. But when we look at it on the broader canvas, so there isn't anything. I mean, they are one because against singular enemy, that is one. But when we try to comprehend it with the lens of this, that whether there are some frictions within them, so there are a number of frictions. I mean, the case of Ukraine, it's quite explicit. Then there are other factors like the Russia's, you know, first time when in 2008, that was the Abkhazia and Ossetia's annexation. So even at that time, we have observed that there was, you know, no comments on that from Chinese side, and countries which were recognizing it as a part of Russia. So we couldn't see China in that list. But instead of making, you know, hue and cry on certain issues, countries are, you know, quietly moving on. And this is something that is quite, you know, easy to understand, that countries, they do have, you know, interests and somehow differences. So I think in the limelight, there isn't any friction.
I think one or two questions have more. Do you have a time? Yeah. Quickly.
I just told you, but
okay.
we can quickly answer that.
Yes, quickly. Iram asked about, according to the heartland theory, which posits that control over the Eurasian heartland will have global dominance. So why did the Soviet Union, despite controlling the majority of the heartland region, ultimately collapse in 1991? And other questions, I think that will be the last question. Okay, you can. Quickly remarks, yes. Yes, can.
I thought that you are just.
No, yes, okay. You can quickly reply another one.
A very good question, that why Soviet Union, did Soviet Union disintegrate? Soviet Union disintegrated because of a number of reasons. And I said that it is no more superpower, and this is the one reason that you just lost heartland, because it is just like you know, a diamond which you got and you became a power. But when the moment you lost that, you are no more power. As far as why was Russia not able, because there is a long story. How did Russia conquer Central Asia? Because Central Asia, it's totally different from that of Russia, in a sense that their culture is different, their ethnicity is different. So a number of factors, even though they spent many years with Soviet Union, when it was Russia first, then later Soviet Union. So even then they could not become a part of that system. So this is the one reason, and there wasn't any move of independence, quite surprisingly. But yet they got independence because there were some internal, you know, changes, and one cannot forget about the perestroika and glasnost of this Gorbachev. Some believe that these were two mistakes. That's why this had happened, and there were other reasons, like even Soviet Union did the same mistake. Like its long stay in Afghanistan, 10 years. This was the one reason of its breakup. That's why there is a book available that the Afghanistan, it's a graveyard of empires. So those who are trying to control it, they are perished basically. So this may be the one reason.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone who joined this session. Thank you, Dr. Sarwat. You joined and आपने time दिया और इंशाल्लाह फ्री में आपकी वीडियो शेयर कर दूंगा. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you so much, unknown user. Thank you, Allah Hafiz.